act as counsel for the government. And through that means Nairobi City Water and Sewage Company is a government agency. So through its corporation, we'll have now to check the government and give a report. So through Nairobi City Water and Sewage Company, we can give a report to the government that such a school is not in good position, or such a company is not good position, so you are supposed to improve the hygiene. That is our role. So we mainly act as a catalyst on one level. Then on another level, we do what you call the practical experience. In the recent past, I'll give, for example, we have done projects in Madare. In Madare, we have done it in Nakuru. When you go there and find that something is not really happening, maybe let's talk about the sewer and whatever. So we involve the government through it. We'll do maybe some of the
engine of a BMW down, break it into pieces completely, and again bring it back into life. So how do you categorize that? But I think prior learning, CBC has identified that, and they are going to be recognized and awarded. So I think at the young water professionals, what we'll identify is certain caucuses which can bring people. And he has alluded to it, that you are a conglomeration of people in the society with different backgrounds, but not within the water and sanitation space. And we believe their voice is still being heard in your parliament. So if you are in Kajiado, automatically you are dealing with the issues of Kajiado. But we want to escalate it to national level where you have the national chapter. So where we will have one of you joining the young water professionals to bring all those issues. So I think in terms of formation and moving forward, we may not be able to deliberate all that, but we'll also need another forum where now we go into the nitty-gritty. But that is good observation, because what we want is inclusivity. We want to work with everybody. I think we have alluded to that. Can that be sufficient for now? Yeah, thank you very much. Now let us clear the last 5 questions. We had question number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, and number 10. Kindly be very brief. We are running out of time. Time is not our best ally. We have another session that is ahead of us.
Okay, thank you. My name is Paul Odongo from Kakamega Youth, WASPA Parliament, aka Deep State. So, just a general comment, and reframing this question properly is that how do we bridge the gap between knowledge and skill? I think that is the key thing here, because professionalism cannot be used as a yardstick in addressing issues in the water sector. I am skilled in budget advocacy and issue of public finance, but I don't have a degree in accounting. So, for these youth who are unskilled, how do we bridge the gap with the professionals who have the knowledge? Thank you.
Okay. Well noted.
Okay, thank you. My name is James Opili Imwen, Deputy Speaker, Busia Youth, WASPA Parliament. First, I appreciate the organizers of this conference for making the youth at least pick up something pertaining their role in the society on matters of WASH. My question is just very simple. Now that having learned that we have already existing youth parliaments, that is dealing with matters WASH, what is the assurance of the independence of these youth parliaments? What are you giving them as an assurance that they remain independent even after that is partnering, or rather forming an alliance with that is young water professionals? Thank you.
That is number 8. Let's have number 8. Where is number 8? Here. Number 9. Where is number 9? Number 10? Good.
Well, I'm Yusuf Janje, the Speaker of Kakamega County WASPA Parliament. 5 years have been allayed by the previous speakers. It was about the place of the WASPA Parliament in as much as they are forming the national water professional focus.
Number 9. Do number 10 is here close to us, then you go to number 9.
Good afternoon, team. My name is Caroline Modelo from Kisumu Water and Sanitation Company. And my question goes to the lady about social accountability. And like I said, it's very, very important to bring on youths to do checks, evaluation of projects. However, we realize that these youths are never involved at the very, very beginning of this project. And you get to involve them now when it comes to provision of cheap labor at that particular point. You realize that most youths don't get to say attend to do public participations. Why? Most of them don't even get to see these notices. Most of these notices are taken either to the kids, barazas, and all that. Youth have developed so much. They are more technology oriented. They even read news through their phones. How then are we going to engage these youth to do these particular roles? Yes, they don't even get to see these notices at the kids' baraza. At the end of the day, it's all these old men who go to these particular barazas. My second question, and very fast, we have this non-state water utility operators, and like in Kisumu, we have 2 models that we are using to serve the poor, the dedicated management model, and then we have the common frequencies who are offering sanitation services. 80% of these operators are youths, and some of them are actually very learned, and they opt to come for these jobs because they've not, like say, gotten the jobs that they are maybe studying. So how then are the young water professionals going to engage this particular group of people who are helping us with provision of water services in the informal settlement, yet they are not in the mainstream, say, water provision services through the mainstream companies? Thanks.
Thank you. The last one. We want to wind up this session in the interest of time, and the panelists and the speaker will respond to questions in less than 1 minute and 30 seconds, and also give their parting shots as we wind up. What is the way forward? Yes?
My name is Marcy Chebet from Eldoret Water and Sanitation Company. Especially in many rural communities, governments and donors have supported the water infrastructure, such as boreholes with hand pumps or submersible pumps. This has created employment opportunities for the youth. However, these projects are not always sustainable. Why?
Now, let me bring it back to the panelists, and maybe for the benefit of the CAS, you can also, as you respond, state your name and institution so that he is with us on the same page. Vincent, you're free to go. There's another microphone next to you. If you pull it, you can put it on, and it... So just very short.
Thank you very much, Bonastia. My name is Vincent Uba, and I am head of programs at WASPA. So I'll respond to the last question that has been asked, I think, by Tibet. This water projects, boreholes, and many others that were they are established within communities, then within no time they break down and they're no longer serving people. Now, this has been something that is of great concern to us people within the water sector, because these are gains and these are investments that have been put within communities, and within no time they're going down the drain. There's a study that was done, and I think within that study, the reasons for these failures were properly illuminated. one of it was how these projects are usually at the designing stage. Sometimes the communities were not involved. The donor came from wherever they came from. They decided we want to put up a borehole without involving the community. Then they called a big meeting and handed over to the community. Now you are handing over a project to people that were not there from the beginning. They have not been trained on how to manage this. They have no idea how to manage after you're gone. So that when a single part breaks, then they start looking for the donor, say maybe a particular donor that did this. And then when they don't find the donor, because projects are usually short-lived, and then that thing becomes a white elephant. So to address this, I think under the Ministry of Water and Sanitation and our CIS is here, and together with WASPA, sometimes back we worked on rural water supply guidance. And within this, it is stated how some of these projects are supposed to be managed. When they're done maybe by donors or by whoever is doing that, where are you supposed to hand them over and who is supposed to manage? So probably if you can go through some of these guidelines, you will see what needs to be done for us to make sure that these processes or these projects are well managed. We can share more details on how to go about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me get to Chungani.
Thank you. My name is Andrew Chungani from Nairobi City Water and Sewage Company Limited. I'm in the commercial team. I'll try to answer, actually not try, I'll answer a question from Mr. Deep State, so I didn't get your name right. I think Deep State. Or Paul, Deep State.
I can Deep
So,
State.
there is something asked about knowledge gap, the gap between knowledge and skills. And that has been, I think, alluded by some of the speakers who are really not sure what they will do, the role in young water professionals. Under the leadership of the incoming chair who is interim, I think what you'll do, you'll really want to understand who is a professional. Most of us, I think, are looking at it from the perspective that you have to go to a college, maybe, and get a degree. That's not really the case. When you look at our constitution, because we are also part of, when you look at from the International Water Association, the professionals stand from all sectors. You may not have gone to school, but you're still a professional in a particular area. So that one should actually take away your fear of saying there is a gap that's going between knowledge and skills. I think that should have answered your question. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's get to Geoffrey.
I'll be quick. I want to speak on behalf of our team members of the and maybe I'm telling the Western Kenya chapter. I think what we are trying to discuss here, I think I've seen or had a number of concerns about somebody is going to be entered not useful to this particular course. But the young water professionals is basically supposed to be helping us with. Through technical subcommittees, we want to work towards developing opportunities, plus finding new innovations, incubation, finding ways of incubating these new innovations, and ensuring that we are able to push them to sustainable solutions amongst us. Then, of course, we will be handling issues that go together with advocacy, campaigns, awareness raising, accelerating growth in innovation, governance issues, which I think will be in terms of coming together with other interested parties. And those who are concerned about not being water professionals, they will work together as partners in developing the water sector, water and sanitation sector. And also, we will look at how we are able to put together, bring together those ideas that have not been able to be conceived and are not able to be adapted amongst us within the water sector. So I think that is basically what we are about. But in terms of why some of us are being sidelined from others. We really need to look at it from perspective of what are we going to bring on board? What are we going to put together as who are also concerned in the water sector to be able to grow it together and also ensure that we have continuity. From, in terms of change management, we're able to manage those who are facing out of the water sector and who are coming in. How are they going to ensure we have continuity and consistency in continuous development in the water sector?
Thank you, Geoffrey. Now we get to Christine.
Thank you very much. Christine Namaindi is my name, from Busia County, representing the Youth Parliament and KWASNET. The lady asked about how do we engage the youth in issues of social accountability. First, social accountability is still part of public participation. And when we talk of social accountability, I have done different trainings with the youths in Busia County, and the trainings were in the perception of, in the perspective of importance of public participation, the issue of budget process making, the issue of governance, and the issue of social accountability, stroke auditing. And I will say that when we talk about social accountability, there are different stages that will lead you to the results of why you do social accountability. First of all, we have the management committee, because you asked about the youth being involved. We have the management committee, which youth is part of the beneficiary of the group. We have the key informative interview, which is part of the process of getting the social accountability results. And then we have the focus group discussion, which also youth is part of it. Now, if we ask of how youth can be engaged, most of the time I will tell the youths, it is very hard to attain better results at the comfort zone. And it's also good that if you show your strengths, someone can easily engage you. So if we talk about us being engaged, but in whatever little experience I've had, most of the youths don't really understand the essence of public participation. Somebody feels like this is meant for specific, maybe civil society organization, maybe it's meant for those in office, that is their work, they're paid for it. But what we don't get is, as a taxpayer, it is your constitutional right to get to understand that you deserve quality service delivery. So the fact that you pay tax should pay you enough to be part of the process. I will say that for youth to be engaged in terms of social accountability, we have the aspect of the management committee and the focus group discussion. So if you realize there's a water point and you want to get part of that clean water, you know very well the project is going through certain process, be hungry enough to understand how the process is being done. Because if you show the interest, the key parties will also have an interest with you. Because it's hard for somebody to realize your strengths when you're not showing the strengths. So it's upon us, the youths, to show that the key or the watchdogs, or even the service providers, this is what I can do. So please engage me, because this is what I can do best. I always say that if there's a forum like this, make an effort. If there's any public participation, make an effort to go and showcase your strengths and realize how they can engage you. Because if you don't show them, again, it's hard. But again, if it's within the village area, like the management committee and the focus group discussion, get the interest of wanting to be part of the process. That way it is easy for even the key stakeholders to engage you. I think that is the best way I can respond, because when you're talking about social accountability, it's basically just understanding the challenges of the key water point and the recommendations in which you can give out as results in terms of now to the key stakeholders to come on board. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christine.
When you talk about knowing the strength of the youth and really tapping the youth, when you talk about the youth showing their strength, we have the youth that are not vividly showing their strength, but they are waiting for someone else to come and unleash their potential outside there. That's something within them, but it's hidden. What are you doing to come in terms to unleash the potential of the youth who are not showing
I think the best way I can answer this is if I talk on the aspect of the government or the aspect of the civil society organizations, maybe they can come up with the capacity building programs so that to engage these youths who have this strength so that they learn more to understand what it is all about public participation, what is all about social accountability.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, let's give it to Jeremy to wrap up and give us the way forward. Very interesting discussion. I know if I open, I'll receive a barrage of questions, but in the interest of time, this hall is required by the next group. Would want to hold it after Jeremy has finished, but I believe that we are going to take this to another level. It's not going to end at the conference. Jeremy?
Yeah, right. My name is Jeremy Beru from Thika Water and Sewerage Company. I'm also the interim chairperson of the Young Water Professionals in Kenya, and we are honored to have you here. Asante sana. I think those questions have been responded to, and Solomon will be to give a parting shot. During lunch hour, I sat with Professor Mberu from APHRC, and he told me one thing, that until we move, science and wonders will not work. So I think the time is right, and the time is now for us to have a national chapter. And CEO, I think you can feel the hunger amongst us for us to have this association. I think we cannot underscore the importance of having it, and this time, the time is now. So let's all come together, form this chapter, so we can be able to have our voices heard. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much. Now join me in appreciating the speakers and the presenters. And I think what I have picked from this discussion as we wind up is the involvement of non-state actors. And Young Water Professionals seems to focus only on professionals within the water space. So I think that is important to note as you escalate discussions on this. Independence of other institutions. We want to guarantee you that under SDGs, under partnerships and collaborations, it has been researched and found that no institution, no government, no department, no individual can attain his goal alone. You need to partner, you need to collaborate with other institutions. So we want to guarantee the independence of your institutions. Nobody will interfere with the youth parliament. We want them to continue doing what they are doing. But we want that discussion that is coming from the local level to be heard at the top. And you see, we have the privilege of having the CAS, who is involved in policy making, because when you have the ministry, their basis is policy making, to capture your discussion and frame it into a policy that will serve the interest of the youth. So what we are going to do is partnerships and collaboration. Mr. Speaker, sir, I know that's what they call you. I want to assure you unequivocally, nobody will touch them. What will happen, we will continue strengthening them in terms of discussion, and even if it is capacity building, if there are some resources that can flow your way, we ensure they flow. So that is what is going to happen. Now, when it comes to sensitization, this is part of the sensitization. There is a lady, an internal auditor, who said, you had not had it. You have now had it. Ako wapi? Aya, umesikia sasa. Now you become an ambassador, because the young water professionals operate at global level, maybe to bring the CS into perspective. WASPA is the chair of the governing council of IWA. We are affiliated to International Water Association, which has a strong caucus of young water professionals. So as an association, we also have a duty to ensure we have a young water professional chapter within the Republic. What we have been having is Thika, YWP, Nairobi, YWP, Kisumu, but we now want to bring them together so that their conversation is not heard within their institutions. So be aware that other utilities are also allowed to form local chapters. You will be guided. so that at the local level you can discuss. So if it is beyond the local level, it is an issue that is not required to be handled by a utility, it comes to the regional level. If it is an issue of policy and it can't be handled maybe by the counties or whatever, it requires national government, it finds its way. It's just like the local administrative structure. You find there are issues that can be handled by a chief. It is beyond a chief. You go where? It was now, see? SEC. You see, they're different. Then there's a matter, if you take it back to the SEC, he'll tell you, look for the chief, because it is supposed to be handled. That is how we are going to be structured. And all this is to give you an opportunity to participate. So there will be sensitization, national chapter, regional chapter, local chapter. Now, the other issue of youths in terms of pushing, you know, when you push something independently, it is very, very difficult to achieve your objective. I've seen only few individuals who have become institutions like the Okia or Mutatas. But there are not many. How many can you get? But if you look at Okia or Mutata, he's also well-resourced and structured. It is not the Okia or Mutata you see. When you see Okia, there is another institution behind him. You think it is Okia or Mutata. It's not. But they have tapped into his skills and his expertise. So as an individual, it becomes difficult. But when we caucus together, then it becomes easier. So I think, and that is why we are coming together, so that we can influence policy and we can also improve service delivery. So I think those are the key points that we are getting here, and we are going to escalate this conversation. I think we are agreeing as an association that within the next 60 days, we need another sitting, either with the regional coordinators to plan, and this will involve also non-state actors. Then from there, we can have a basis of having another national youth forum to ensure that the objectives that we have envisioned here, that we ultimately come up with a structure that will give space in terms of bringing out clearly the voice of young people within the WASH space. So with that, I want to thank everybody, our speakers, our panelists, and the entire team here for taking time out of your busy schedule. I don't know, because I've not consulted, if CAS, because I'm not sure if you'll have the opportunity maybe tomorrow to, maybe you wanted to say jambo to the young people. Why don't we appreciate as they exit? Let's have our CAS say jambo to this congregation, because it is not always easy to get them because of the very busy schedule. The one sanitizing, a microphone, please. Let's have that.
Well, thank you so much, Anthony. Thank you to all of you for being able to come. I just wanted to get a feel of what's going on. That's why I popped in. I was going around this place and I said, let me get a feel. And I think for the short time I've been here, you're actually going by the theme that you're unlocking the potential of the youth and women for sustainable water and sanitation service, which is very good. Thank you very much for all of you. I've listened. I still have time to talk tomorrow, so we will talk more. But I picked one thing also, sustainability of the projects that we have. At the moment, let me tell you, the ministry has had a team going around all the counties to look at what can be done. When we are transferring a project, what should really be done so that we attain sustainability? Because that has been the critical factor in terms of the projects. How do we also harmonize the projects so that we don't get an NGO doing one here, tomorrow the county is also doing one next to that, and so on. So really, those are some of the things that we need to pick, and it's very important because now we're finalizing our reforms. We're reforming some of our policies and so on. And I'm hoping that some of the issues that the youth have, the women have been integrated in those reforms, which would be very good. So I don't want to say much, we'll still talk, I'm still around, but I want to wish you well and have a good evening. Thank you so much.
Wapi makofi tena kwa CAS. Thank you very much. We want to assure you that even in the absence of the Youth Caucus, as water service providers, we actively participated in the National Water Policy 2021, which has been converted in a sessional paper, and it is before Parliament. I want to tell you that 40% of that document captures our thoughts, our insights and foresights of all problems. And there's a chapter which focuses on women and youth. But we also want to bring them on board such that when we are doing those activities, they also have the opportunity to shape that policy. We really appreciate. And I think without much ado, this forum is now declared dissolved. We can head for our health break. Take a few minutes, like 20, because there are other sessions. There's another session which will be running here in the next 5 minutes. So then after that, there is a gala dinner from 6:30. And I think the sessions have delayed a little bit, but I believe if it is latest by 7. So you're invited at the gala dinner. If you remember where we had the cocktail, there's a terrace outside, just in the garden. So that is where we are going to have the gala dinner. Thank you very much. Thank you.